What's cooking, Juventus fans? Welcome back to your old lady's favorite YouTube channel. Today, we're covering the latest edition of Will They Pop or Will They Not? Pogba, Di Maria, Juventus. Is the deal going to get done? Are we going to have a here we go? Or are we going to look at some other options moving down the line? And then we talk about the left back position. Are Juventus going to do the smart, reasonable thing, or are they going to do the thing that we all don't want them to do? We'll cover that as well as some of the other updates in the Mercado. Stick with us. We'll fill you in. Ciao ragazzi, welcome back to the Bianconeri Zone. My name is Justin Sofro. Today, it's Sunday, May 29th, 2022, and of course I got your latest rundown of all things Juventus, all the news you can hear about each and every day. Before we get into it though, make sure you smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, join the community that we have here, as well as hit that bell icon to stay notified for all of our latest videos. Now let's just jump into it, and the very first news story of the day is, of course, it's kind of like, it feels a little bit recycled at this point, but you know we have to talk about the updates going around Di Maria and Pogba and all that. First up, we have Corriere dello Sport saying that Juventus are down to the last details for Di Maria. The last threat has also vanished. Atletico Madrid, who wanted to bring the Argentine back to Madrid, have taken a step back. The Bianconeri are trying to square with the Argentines' demand. A 7 million euros plus bonus per season wage is proposed, while the player asks for 8 million plus bonuses as well. So it's really just it's a euro there, here and there. Plus, it just depends how many or how much bonuses that he can end up getting. Again, just do the deal. Get it done. I'm not saying Juventus. I'm saying Di Maria. You got no other options. Do you want to stay in Europe, or do you want to go back to Argentina right now? Do you want to play, or do you not want to play? Bleep or get off the pot. That's what we're doing, right? Okay, let's get into it, or the next part of it. Next up, we have Gazzetta dello Sport talking about the situation with Di Maria, as well as what's going on with Pogba, saying that Pogba and Di Maria are waiting for the call. Both have chosen Juventus. The agreement with Rafaela Pimenta can be found on a 3-year, 7.5 million euro per season, plus bonuses, a salary that could be approached for the Argentine. So there's the numbers as you have it. It looks like it can get done with the players, bring them into Turin, get the deal done. Let's get moving on so we can talk about, is Paul Pogba, what can Paul Pogba do for the club moving forward, as well as what are the other pieces Juve are going to end up needing to get to, to supplement some of the areas around them. Who's going to help them out? Who's going to do that, especially in the attack? Who's going to help Vlahovic? I'm so ready, obviously, to celebrate these guys coming in. Who Pogba is a big get, regardless. It's not something you should take lightly for any means, especially right now when there's talks of, Zinedine Zidane, PSG, all that's been going on there. But at this point, it's getting a little bit overplayed, a little drawn out, and this is where we sit right now. Juventus, Pogba, Di Maria, let's figure this out. Let's get the ball rolling. Let's get excited about what we can do and what we can really focus on in the Mercado, especially if you're talking about 5, 6, 7 different guys that need to come in this Mercado. Knock the first 2 out. Let's focus on the other 4 or so. All right. Following that, we have reports on players that could end up leaving the club, and this is one that probably, it's a little close to home for me personally, and that is Weston McKennie. Corriere dello Sport are reporting saying that Tottenham are in on McKennie. Juventus demands a proposal of at least 40 million euros to bring the American to their club, and that's what they would be evaluated. So anything less than that, they're not even looking at it. The Bianconeri could generate a substantial capital gain with the sale of the American. Let me be clear, because I want to make sure. I've said stuff before about I'm not against the sale of McKennie, and I'm definitely not. But my thing is you have to at least have a good option, I feel like, that you're replacing him with, as well as making sure you're making good money off him. You don't want to just sell him for 30 mil or whatever, 25 mil or whatever it is. You want to make some money off of him. And I think his stock has risen since he's come to Juventus. He's become one of the premier players for the American national team. Whatever it is you value the U.S. men's national team, his stock has risen gratuitously with that. So I think at this point right now, I think that'd be a smart move for Juventus to make if they can make money off of it. But if you're not going to make money off of it, he's a player that can be very useful. He has a useful skill set. Unless you're one of these jack bleeps that are on here, talking about his situation, his health, his physical fitness, because he's got a tiny little bit, a little pudge. Just a little pudge down there. Like, I don't think people realize when it comes, and I know I'm not the physical embodiment of men's health. Actually, this is peak physical. This is the peak male performance body. You may not like it, but this is what it is what I'm saying. No, but overall, I think people confuse bodybuilding for peak athleticism, and that's not always the case, and that's not always true. There's a lot of bodybuilders out there that are full up with muscle and tone or whatever, but they suck at sports, and I don't think that the two have to be equal, but obviously you would like to see Weston McKennie being a little bit more toned up and ready to go once the season goes, but you have to also realize injuries and all that stuff he's come off of, it is what it is, and I understand it's a different culture, different lifestyle for people that are going at it, whatever. We'll see what happens with Weston McKennie. Keep that on the docket for now, but a different option. What could happen if Weston McKennie, if I can get it out again today, what happens if he leaves? Well, here's a replacement option Juve are looking at, and that would be with Curadito Kone, and I probably butchered it, whatever, of Gladbach. He's a French player, a French midfielder. I think he only had like 2 or 3 goals this season, though. But again, he's a young option, a youth option, and I don't know why I'm vetoing so much today. His skills as a box-to-box midfielder have caught the attention of Juventus observers, as well as those of Atletico, United, and Leicester. So there's an option there. Corriere dello Sport's reporting on that. I'll be honest, to me, and it's just me personally, player could be a good player, could be a good option. It doesn't excite me as much as what Weston McKennie brings to the club and what he does. So I would still err on keeping Weston McKennie unless you're making substantial money off of him. That's just where I sit with it right now. We'll see what happens. But just keep that in the back of your head just in case Juventus end up making a move to sell Weston McKennie in this Mercado. Talking about other players that are looking at potentially trying to sell themselves later, and that is Matthias de Ligt. Roman Gressi's just basically estimating that he thinks that de Ligt's new clause, or his new release clause from Juventus, will be around 80 million euros. Sorry, something to my eye. Not tears. This is one of those situations where, again, when it comes to Matthias de Ligt, the potential sale of him, I don't really like the number. I think the release clause number to me should be 90 million euros. It's safe. It's still above. It's more in the range of what you're looking at with what you originally purchased him for and all that. I don't like the idea of 80, 70, anything like that. Anything that could be really close to or lower than what you purchased him for originally. So that's my bugaboo with the issue, if you will. But for what it is, Matthias de Ligt's going to get his agreement, so that way he will stay at Juventus at least for a few more seasons. Talking about future center backs that could join Matthias de Ligt, though, Tutto Sports reporting that on the situation, we talked about Koulibaly in recent days, saying that Napoli's proposals do not convince Koulibaly. 2 roads, a farewell and a free in 2023, or a sale this summer. Juventus are keeping a close eye on the Senegalese value. It hovers around between 40 and 50 million euros. It seems like a steep price, and I don't know if Juventus would really be willing to pay in this Mercado for a player that has 1 year left on his contract, if I'm being honest. And then with other center back options, they have cheaper ways that they can go, especially the center back position is important because obviously you're replacing what de Ligt is, or not de Ligt, what Chiellini is no longer able to provide since he's gone, but you're not replacing Chiellini. De Ligt is replacing Chiellini, but you're replacing a player that can play alongside him. And I think maybe a cheaper option, I talked about Milinkovic, or a long-term option like a player like a Bajashile, maybe you can drop 30 or 35, whatever it is on him, and that'd be cheaper, plus what I would expect to be a more long-term solution at that position for Juventus. And also, again, De Laurentiis, do I think he's going to do a deal with Juventus? I doubt it right now. That's where I sit with it. Moving on, though, we'll talk about another position, and we're looking at the left backs and what Juventus is really doing there right now. Tutto Sports reporting saying that Juventus are looking for a left back. Obviously, the leading candidate, given his experience, remains that of Emerson Palmieri, which shocks me. That should not be the leading candidate. Udogie, or wait, is it Udogie? Is it Udogie? I don't know. There's 2 ways to say it. We've been saying Udogie, but honestly, if there's another way to say it, you let me know what's proper, and I'll say it the correct way. But anyway, Emerson Palmieri supposedly is a leader, while Young Line is represented by Udogie. From Portugal, there is a talk of a possible offer for Benfica's Grimaldo. So his name comes back into the list and the options that are rumored out there. Again, I've got my flag firmly planted in Udogie, whatever you say it, however you pronounce it. That would be the guy that I would go for first of all. Continuing talking about the left back position, Gazzetta dello Sport is saying that Juventus try the push for Udogie. Okay, let's just say Udogie. Justin, just say Udogie. Let's do that for now until you get proper confirmation on that. All right, his valuation is around 15 million euros, but Udinese could also be interested in some players. So if there's a guy that they like from Juventus, maybe that's a good way that you can get this deal done in the summer. Then Wijndal AZ's request is more than 5 million euros. Ajax is also interested in the Dutchman. The Emerson Palmieri track cannot be excluded. I wish it could be excluded, but it's not excluded right now. I think we talked about it before. If you can get Wijndal for like less than 10, less than whatever, then I think that could be a solid option for Juventus to try to get in there as well. But again, Udogie is the way that I would go about it. Moving forward, though, let's also talk about the other side when it comes to the backs in that situation, and then the right back position. What's happening there? We talked about, is De Sciglio going to be that guy moving forward for the next 2 years, or are Juventus potentially looking at a different direction? Gazzetta dello Sport reporting saying that on the right flank, Cuadrado and Danilo should guarantee another star-studded season. At the moment, though, De Sciglio's renewal has not arrived, a sign that the Bianconeri are making evaluations. Cagliari's Bellanova and Udinese's Molina are also attractive options. So maybe this is a situation where Juventus is like sitting back and saying, we could renew De Sciglio for a couple of seasons. It could be a cheap option. Or we could actually get serious pieces that could be good replacements for the long term if they're available in this Mercado. So we'll see how they evaluate that. It really just depends, too, what their overall plan in the Mercado is. Is it more important on the midfield and the attack? Or are you going to work on some of this defensively and getting some of these guys in long term? It just depends where the priorities are and how they're listed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, All right. From there, though, we also have the final report of the day, just talking about outgoing players, the way the situation lines up for Juventus moving forward. Romeo Gresti reports on that, saying, from tomorrow, every day will be good for concrete news about Juventus' market. As for the Ramsey, the only way out remains the contractual termination. Juventus will do everything in their power to avoid getting a severance package to the Welshman, but if they want to break this story, the step must be taken. It is to be understood what the figures could be. Usually on a player who earns 7 to 8 million euros net, a middleweight can allow to save a little. There will be a meeting with Torino, who want to obtain a discount on Mandragora as well, his price tag, while Piazza will return. Then the club will have to find a new team. So this is just the leftovers that Juventus has, if we're being honest. I don't want to disrespect these players, but at this point, so be it. Ramsey, I don't even want to mention him on the channel anymore. At this point, if you have to, pay him off. You got to pay him off and get him out of here, and I don't want to hear him mentioned in the same breath as Juventus any longer, except for if it's ex-Juventus player, and that's the only way I want to hear it. When it comes to, that's fine, get the deal done with Torino about the discount, or I don't know about the discount, but whatever they're going to do, it's not high enough of a level for me to really concern myself with it. The only way I could ever see it is if for some reason Juventus really wanted to throw their hat into the Bremer race, and that would for some reason help with that, but it'd be such a minuscule, tiny, itty-bitty part of it that it really wouldn't make a big difference in Juventus trying to sign that player anyway. And then Piazza is what it is. We'll see what happens with him and where he ends up going. That's the update as it stands when it comes to Juventus and the players in the Mercado. Really, right now, like I said, it's all systems. We're ready. We're on hold until the floodgates break, which will be, I'm guessing, Di Maria probably first right now. It looks like, I thought it was Pogba. Right now, it looks like Di Maria, and then Pogba could follow suit shortly after. We'll see if I'm wrong on that. But stay tuned to the Bianconeri Zone. We'll cover it, and we'll be going live almost immediately after that news breaks. So make sure you're sticking with the channel. If you haven't already, please smash that like button. It does help our channel, the algorithm and all that. Hit the subscribe button, join our community as well in our member squad, and also make sure you hit that bell icon switched on so you get updates with all of our videos as soon as they come out. If you haven't already, make sure you follow me at Justin Sofro on Twitter and at Bianconeri Zone. We'll be on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff. We'll see you guys next time. Probably not that long from now, for being honest. We'll see you guys sometime today, tomorrow, whatever have you. Forza Juve, Forza Bianconeri.